the king of one-liners, the goat of open mic comedy. It's Kev O'Brien.
Hey.
Are you ready to show us your thing?
Yes, I am. And my thing is my book.
Hooray!
And it's called My First Year in Stand-Up Comedy.
Kev, are you ready to laugh?
Yes.
I'll hold you to that, Kev.
Good.
Ooh,
It started.
Using my own weapons against me.
Yeah, so I've read the book, Kev. I've read it.
Good.
Well written book, sure.
Good.
And I'll give it 5 stars
Nice one.
out of 10.
Write a review, for God's sake.
Out of 10.
Somebody has to. And read Niall's review while you're at it.
Oh, Niall left a review.
He did, but
What
I think
a
it did me
sly
more
dog. I
harm
bet
than
it
good.
wasn't very nice.
Well, he compared me to the Bible, which probably upset a lot of religious people.
What did you say, Niall?
I can't remember. What does Kev know what I said?
It's something like, it's better than the Bible. And then he said, I've not seen you since your days on the best-selling list in New York, because they've got the 2 authors mixed up. So they've got some American author with my book, the same name.
Oh, no.
So he was a best-selling criminal writer or something.
You might have got some cross-channel sales from that, though.
So I actually contacted him. He lived in Seattle. And he said, you got off lightly to confuse me with some religious maniac who was writing loads of, Christian books and stuff. So
Was that you, Kev?
no, not in my. That was in my earlier days. Yeah.
So did the other Kev O'Brien have to change his name? To the
No, he just kept it to. There's about 4 authors who were all called Kevin O'Brien, and they're all Amazon just get our books mixed up. So this guy wrote,
isn't there a cricketer as well?
Yeah, there is. That's one of my jokes, but that never works because nobody knows who he is.
How many books have you wrote now, Kev?
6. I had nothing to do in lockdown, so I wrote 6 books, and nobody read them.
Are they all about comedy, or?
I wrote 2 comedy books. One was this one, and the other one was a book on one-liners and short jokes. It's about 400 jokes in it, but nobody read that either.
Oh, what about the others? What are the others about? What are the others?
Oh, the others, I wrote one called My First Year in Tokyo. And I wrote one, My First Year in Mexico City. Then I wrote one about property development, because I used to do that. And then I wrote one about Bulgaria, because I traveled a lot around the world working away. And
Are you going to do one on Southport?
That's my next book. That'll be a pamphlet, though. It won't be a
First Year in Southport. Wow.
Yeah, 2 pages.
What was the last book you bought on Amazon, Niall?
I'm not sure. I don't buy them off Amazon because they're quite expensive.
Yeah.
This book's only £2.
I've got Kev's book.
Yeah, he's got it. He read it.
I've got it. Read it.
He was one of the 6 people that read it.
I read it.
You got yours for free.
I read it over and over and over and over and over.
Well, you're in it, aren't you, Niall?
You're suffering from some insomnia.
I just read my chapter.
Yeah, your gig was a cracker, wasn't it?
It was.
It sounds like it wasn't. It sounds like, from reading the book, that gig was shit. And,
it was.
And the fault of that was all down to, number 1, the promotion, and number 2, to a compare.
Weirdly enough, there were quite a few people for it. It could have been good. It could have been good.
Yeah, could have been. To be fair, though, we got a top-notch selection of comedians. There's about 10 comedians, wasn't there? To be fair, all of the sets were good. There's nothing wrong with the comedians.
There's something wrong with the audience.
It's just the audience were a nightmare, weren't they?
Mm.
It was like Night of the Living Dead.
Was your mum in the audience, Niall?
Yeah, we had my mum. We had my mum there on the front row. She started playing Candy Crush at one point on her phone.
Yeah. I remember that what strikes me about that night is I saw the first three guys die, and they were all established comedians, and I thought, oh my God. So I'd only been doing it a year. I thought, I'm going to get murdered here. So I went on, and they were just having a conversation on the front seat, 3 or 4 people just chatting away. And I did my first 3 or 4 jokes, and they were my best jokes. So I thought, I've had it now. I didn't get anything out of that. So I said, do you mind if I interrupt your conversation and ask what you're talking about? And she said, yeah, his name's Kevin too. We thought, what a coincidence.
He's an author.
So I said, oh, can we chat about it later then? But in the meantime, would you mind watching my act?
I think that's the best part of the book, where you just talk about the random things that happened, like all the bad experiences. That's what I enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, my favourite bad experiences was one. I got booked to, I got double booked at the local pub, and there was a funeral due on. So we set up the microphones and everything. We're just about to start telling jokes, and this guy, the manager, rushed over to us and said, "What are you doing?" So we're going to tell a few jokes. He went, "Not here, you're not." So you booked us. He said, "It's a funeral party." So I said, "Oh, sorry." So we just sat and had a few pints and went home.
I remember doing your gig and it was quite rough. It was in like a rough pub, wasn't it?
Yeah, when in the early days, no decent pubs would give me and James a chance. So we used to have to go all the really rough pubs in Southport, which are most of them basically.
Most of them, yeah.
The classy ones.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get a good pub for that few months before a decent pub gave us a gig. But it was really like people shouting and interrupting and echoing. And by the time I started gigging in Liverpool, it was like easier in Liverpool because less echoing.
I remember they really didn't want comedy on. They were really angry that you were about to do comedy.
Yeah.
It was interrupting their they just wanted to chill out in the pub, and they were just really pissed off.
Yeah. It's a nightmare.
That was a weird gig. That was that's probably my roughest gig. Them two, them two. Kev's been at my worst.
The one in Blackpool, that was great.
In fact, Kev was there when I died my worst ever death because I went off. I don't know if Kev will remember.
That was in Liverpool. That was in
my second ever gig.
Stan's gig, wasn't it? Yeah, Stan.
Yeah, I think it was my second.
Love Thy Neighbour or something it was called, wasn't it? Love Thy Laughter. That was it.
Gig, and it was quite a nice gig. It was really small, but it was really nice.
Yeah, like a vegetarian cafe or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was like a hostel upstairs as well.
Yeah, it was. You know, I went on first at that gig. The entire audience were Italian and Portuguese students, so none of them spoke English. So I went and did my set, and they all left by the time everybody else got on. So I was told my entire gig, and there was one Scottish guy in the corner that was laughing at all the jokes, and nobody else laughed. And I thought, this is weird. That wasn't a great gig. And then Niall came on after. Niall had a bit of a meltdown, then he came back and did a really good set.
Yeah, because I've never gigged in front of like 4 people before. So I was like, this is fucking it's a shock, isn't it? It's a shock.
That many.
My first 2 gigs were at comedy clubs. So then I was gigging in like a vegetarian cafe with 4 people.
Big time. Yeah.
So I've got some questions.
Go on then, fire away.
You open one of your jokes with, I pissed myself.
Yes.
Have you ever pissed yourself in real life?
Yes.
Care to expand?
It involved alcohol. It involved alcohol, an hotel door, and a key that wouldn't work.
That sounds sad rather than funny.
You're so close to it that you know you can make it, but you can't.
And then you went straight back out.
No, I went to bed.
Well, that had a happy ending. Next question. What's your favourite flavour of Angel Delight?
I would have to go with strawberry.
Yeah, strong choice. What's your favourite film?
Scarface.
Do an impression of Tony Montana.
Well, I'll try. Say hello to my little friend.
No, that's not good.
That's what I used to say to my wife.
Hey.
Hey.
You can't turn Kev off.
Can't turn him on by the sound of it. Who is your least favourite comedian on the circuit?
It's got to be Niall.
Oh,
Hey.
Kev. Oh.
Only pedos can hear that sound. It's hilarious.
That's mint. Which
Oh, there
one?
was one on the circuit. It was a pedo, wasn't? I don't know his name.
I can't.
Oh,
I don't.
Don't
I've never
say it
met him.
either. Don't say it.
No, I
don't
can't
know
remember
him.
his name anyway. But he'd got done for being an actual pedo. You know, on them Facebook groups. You know, them
Right.
Facebook groups where they film him.
Right.
put-
Okay.
And Ben Silver said, imagine you have to ring in work and say, I can't come in today. And you say, why? You're not feeling well? And you go, no, I'm a pedo. That was funny. That was one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life.
It's hilarious.
Okay, so I've got a final question this round.
Right. Okay.
The most important for me, really. Who's your favourite Coronation Street character out of everyone that's ever been on?
I don't know because I haven't watched Coronation Street since 2005. Who would you have gone for?
I was a big fan of Phyllis, and
Oh yeah, she was good. And Norris.
fan of Percy
Phyllis-
Sugden
Norris
as
was the
well.
other one, wasn't he? Yeah.
Percy Sugden.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Good choices.
Have you got a favourite Coronation Street character?
It's got to be Roy the Butcher, isn't it?
Butcher? A butcher?
Was it Roy's Rolls? No, you're thinking of the other guy, the old guy who used
Yeah,
to,
Fred Elliott.
I used to go, Ashley.
Stop getting Coronation Street wrong, Niall. No, the butcher was Fred Elliott and Roy.
That's right, yeah.
Fred
Roy
Elliott.
Cropper.
Yeah. There's a place in Manchester wherever I used to drive through it. It's called Ashley. And
Right.
whenever I used to drive through it, I used to say, "Our Ashley."
I've never having you to a gig. You open your book with how you started.
Yes.
It sounds like you just started because you had like a massive breakdown. And
Yeah,
you had
pretty much. Yeah.
you had to move back to
Yeah.
Southport.
Thanks for reminding me about that. That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it kind of it was all going a bit wrong, and I was living in Southport as well, which is so I thought I better do something to get out of this hole. I looked on the internet for free courses, and there's a free comedy course at the local community centre. So I thought I'll do that. Why not? So I did it, and that was it. In your living.
Yeah.
I mean, I did an open mic while I was doing the comedy course because the girl who ran the course also had her own comedy night. She said, "You've got to do a stand-up thing at the end of the 4 weeks. It was 4 half days. So you've got to do a comedy thing. But I've got an open mic night tonight. Why don't you come to that?" Of course, I had no idea what I was doing, and I got up, and it was in the Jacaranda Club in Liverpool, which is like Comics Graveyard if you don't know what you're doing.
I've never been.
Well, they don't do it anymore, but it used to be a really rowdy crowd,
Yeah.
I mean, before me, I was 13th on the list. One guy started crying because he'd forgotten. Another guy froze up and said, "I'm sorry, it's only my second time." I saw like
Maybe I have been.
you think what's the worst that can happen, but then you think a lot of bad things can happen.
Anything else?
No, I think we're done. I can't think of anything else to ask now.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.